Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you can do about it. Today with Coffee with Curry, I am honored to have our councilwoman to come back and talk with us. Now that the budget have passed, what is in that budget for us? And I promised you transparency, and she did. That she would come back, she would explain, what is going on with the budget and what was in it new, what's old, what's whatever. And I have some very specific areas I really want to deal with. I also want to talk about this buzz that's going on about the bridge. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a real good conversation with Councilwoman Michelle Harlee, and we're going to have a great time. So why don't you call somebody real quickly, tell them Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Good morning, Delaware and surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to this week's Coffee with Curry. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. with new guests every week. So grab your cup of coffee and join us on Coffee with Curry.
And we're back. As I promised you, we have Councilwoman Harlee. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're becoming a regular. Maybe we should call this the Harlee and Curry show.
I like that.
But you promised us that you would try to make sure that you bring back the information, the factual information. You said that you would, especially with the budget passed, there was some controversial comments made about it. And I want to make sure that when we are talking, we're trying to include all the parties to be able to give the community the best information possible. Before I get started, though, how is the family doing?
So the family is doing very well. Since I was here the last time, my youngest granddaughter, she's going to be graduating, so the family's been involved in the award ceremonies and going to different events to support my youngest granddaughter.
And how is retirement treating you? I see all your beautiful colors on, but how's retirement treating you?
I just love it. I don't know why it took me so long to do it, but I'm having a great time.
Well, that's wonderful, and I'm glad you're really enjoying life. And for you to say your youngest grandchild is graduating from high school or college?
High school.
From high school, I think that's just remarkable. A few questions first, because before I even get to the budget, I'm hearing all this buzz going on about the bridge, and I need you, if you know any information on it, tell me a little bit about that first.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm really excited about the bridge. The bridge is an initiative that is comprised of a number of partners. I'm starting off with the Bank of America. As you know, Bank of America, they own the properties on 10th and King Street, the prior MBNA buildings. So Bank of America is working with Longwood Foundation to pretty much seal a great deal in terms of the property. With that deal will encompass what we call the education hub. So one of those buildings are going to be used to bring in Widener Law School.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, and they're basically talking about 600 students, 200 faculty. That's one of the educational components. The second one is Delaware State University. They will be bringing in their behavioral science and health department.
Wow.
Yes, right?
That's huge for a lot of reasons.
It really is, especially when we think about some of our health disparities that are in our city and around our city. And then lastly, the early college school.
Wow. Good,
yes,
good.
Which right now they only have the one campus in Dover.
Right.
And they pretty much are always having, a waiting list.
Yes.
So if everything goes the way it's supposed to and planned, we'll have two of those particular schools. So we have one in Wilmington, the early college school, which the students go to high school for 3 years, and then their senior year they actually go to Delaware State University.
Wow.
So by the time they graduate from high school, they already have 1 year in. So they only talking about paying tuition for 3 years.
And if they're a Delaware State resident, they ain't got to pay nothing. But that's good.
Absolutely. Well, when especially they have some costs that they have to pay. Okay. But yeah, so the bridge is about the educational components, coming back to Wilmington or adding more to Wilmington.
Yes.
And again, that will be Bank of America, Longwood Foundation, they will be establishing the property. And then those other partners, as I shared with you, will be Widener Law School, Delaware State University, and the Early College High School. The other part to that is to get funding from the different levels of government.
Okay.
So the city of Wilmington has been asked to fund, to give $10 million.
Okay.
I know the General Assembly, they have been asked to give a certain amount, and there are other funders that they are also reaching out to. I think the beautiful thing about getting a number of municipalities, your private and your private sector involved, because this way it's not, controlled by one company or one entity. So now you have all these different private partners involved with it. So I think it will definitely, work best for the city and the state, actually. So the agreements have to be signed by June 30th, even though this is not going to be rolled out completely until like 2026. They need to renovate the building.
Absolutely.
Yes, so that particular building is behind the old courthouse, which is on King Street between 10th and 11th. It's a building behind that building, which is on French Street. So that will be the building that will be housing the bridge. So that's pretty much,
600 students.
Yes.
Faculty members in our city.
Yes.
We love it.
Yes.
I love it, should I say it that way?
Yes.
I love when we have the innovation. I don't know who thought this up and said, let's just try to present this. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to bring up people out of poverty,
yes,
you do it through education.
Absolutely.
You're dealing with a law school, you're dealing with a social science, behavioral science.
Yes.
Some people
And
have
health.
complained, and health, right.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have complained that, our police officers need to have people in there to help de-escalate some of the things that we have. Mm-hmm. This type of training, this type of resources in our city will help in more ways than people can even imagine.
Absolutely.
And then you have, and we talk about we don't have a high school other than, Howard Higher is here.
Yes.
But we don't really have a high school, our academic high school. Mm-hmm. Wow, this will bring another whole element, another spin. I'm excited about this, and I've been hearing it. I wasn't sure about it, but it's good to hear. And the City of Wilmington Mayor's Office and the City Council is now asked to bring in $10 million. And are y'all going to be able to do that, or?
Yes. Well, we have an update call today, as a matter of fact, at 12 o'clock. But we already had a presentation shared with us by Thierry DuPont and Dr. Tony Allen. They actually came to our Education, Youth, and Family Committee meeting, and they actually did a presentation there to talk about, the whole initiative and the funding. So we already knew about it, as a body through the council meeting, but today I believe our mayor is going to talk more about it. And for the council members that I have been talking to, we're all excited about it.
I'm excited about that. I'm overwhelmed because, we talk about, and I know it's going to be downtown, but still, when you have that type of resources coming in your city, when you said Widener Law School, which is noted throughout the country, throughout the world, really, and it's not like it's a little teeny place. They're going to almost move their law school over here.
Yes.
And have the faculty available here and students. That's going to increase the revenue. That's going to, see, I'm looking at all the dynamics.
The economic engine.
Yeah. So this is just really something that no one is a buzz, but people are getting excited. I joined that excitement.
Yes.
And that this is something that the city really needs as we continue to build upon the infrastructure of our city.
Absolutely.
And if we really want to get rid of poverty,
Yes.
This is the route to go. You got to give the educational resources and have it here, have it available. The research that comes out of that.
Yes.
That's so important. It's so great. So I'm very grateful that you shared that with us because I wasn't sure where to get the information. And I do hope that, you said today at 12 noon, y'all going to have a meeting.
Yes.
Now for those of you who are watching us, this is not Sunday. So she's going to have a meeting on today. But by the time we get together on Sunday, we'll know whether or not you all were able to find the resources, call the meetings that y'all need to call to make some things happen. But I do hope you are able to do that. And I'm sure the city council, the ones that you have spoken to, seem to be excited about it as well.
100%. And this goes back to the last time when I was on the show, I had shared with you that the council does meet with the mayor.
Okay.
So this will be that update meeting that I had shared with you that we have with the mayor. So today, you know, I'm sure that's going to be on the agenda, and if he doesn't bring it up, I will bring it up. But I'm most certain that he's going to definitely bring it up because June 30th is a couple weeks away, and even though all the different funders don't have to actually have the money right now, a commitment. It has to be a signed off commitment by June 30th. So,
and the two people that you've heard that you shared us do their presentations.
Yes.
Whether it be Thurl or DuPont or Dr.
Allen.
Allen, thank you. You're helping me so much today. Whether it be either the two. See, I know one is Thurl, and Thurl, I know him by his first name, and Tony by his first name. So I was trying to say it the appropriate way and use the appropriate titles. But both of them are giants in this community, and they have a proven track record of doing what they think is important. And I really am very much excited about this, and I pray that it really, really, really works. I think sometimes, Councilman Harlee, I think sometimes we get caught up in the moment of where we are, and we lose focus on where we're going.
That's correct.
And without the vision, even in the Bible it says, without a vision, people perish.
100.
And this is really a good step forward.
Yes, it is.
Because it will help people. Though I don't believe that no child can't learn, no child can't do better in education. I believe all can.
Absolutely.
Because all you got to do is put them in an environment like whether it be rap music or whatever else, and they do that well. So
that's right.
If we put the emphasis on our education, that'll be the same thing. I'm excited about this.
It's very exciting.
I'm very glad that you had some knowledge on it, and whatever the city council is going to do, I would like to hear that. So when you come back, because we're going to be you're going to be a regular coming back.
Yes.
When you come back, we really want to hear where city council is with this, the mayor's office, so that we can continue to push this out in the community, because the community really need to hear and know that there's a vision that is larger than current circumstances. And I think that's very much important.
Yes, a city is either is growing or is dying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so I really do applaud even our mayor for being willing to want to be at the table and be a part of this initiative that's taking place. And in addition to that, since we're talking about the buildings, you know, that used to be owned by Bank of America, Insight, Insight is coming to Wilmington as well. Insight is currently, they have two locations. They have one off of the old Augustine Cutoff, old John Wanamaker's, that's what I meant to say. The old John Wanamaker's building is where Insight is currently located here in Wilmington, but they also have a Chad's Ford location. So those particular employees are the ones that are coming to Wilmington. So the site at Augustine Cutoff, those employees are going to remain there. I wanted to make sure I'm clarifying which building and which, what state they're coming from. So they're coming from Chasford. The Insight employees, they're starting off, I think they said like 300, but once those 300 employees come, that eventually when they end up, it may be a total of 500.
Wow.
That's going to eventually be here.
So if they're working in the city, that means you're going to get some tax revenue out of that.
That's right. That's one of our largest.
That's called vision.
Yes. And we knew, and we were talking about like, how can we generate more revenue? Because as I had shared with you previously, our two biggest revenue streams are from wage taxes and property taxes. So the more businesses that come to Wilmington, the more wage taxes that we can collect, right? To be able to manage and to do more with our budget, for the citizens of Wilmington. So that's exciting for that reason, that we're going to get the 300 right away and then an additional total of 500. And so their building is going to be the one on the corner, right there on 11th and King Street. So Insight is going to be on the corner of 11th and King. And then the bridge is going to be behind the old courthouse. So that's pretty much, but they're also going to occupy the building behind 11th and King too. So 11th and King, and then 11th and French Street. Both of those buildings are going to be inside buildings.
Oh wow, this is exciting news.
Yes.
This is exciting news. I'm looking forward to that. And when you come back, we just want to know where we are. We're just trying to keep that on our radar.
Sure.
Well, I have several questions now that the budget have passed.
Yes.
Did you vote for the budget?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
10 people voted for it, and 2 council members did not vote for it.
Okay. And one of the things I really honor with you is that you don't throw names out there, so that's a good thing because we're not trying to be controversial in any
Not
way.
at all.
But the reality of it is there were some things that were shared that was in the budget that some people felt that should not have been in the budget or whatever. But there are some community stuff, there's some things that people need to be clarified on.
Yes.
And I want to ask you some specific questions to see if or not you can give us some answers from your perspective. Any other council member want to come in, you always let them know you're always welcome to come in.
Yes.
But I want to do that as soon as we come right back from this quick commercial break.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
How you guys doing today? My name is Brandon Snow. I'm president of Southbridge Civic Association. I've been a long-term resident of Southbridge. For those who don't know, my grandfather was Willie Snow. We had Snow's store on B and Hill, which was a long-standing staple in the community. I'm here as the new civic president to pledge my transparency and see the growth and prosperity of our community going forward. For those who need to reach me, feel free to reach out to me via email. It is Southbridge Civic Association DE@gmail.com. And if you need to reach me by phone, feel free to reach out as well. I can be reached at 302-363-4788. Thank you.
And we're back. First quarter of the conversation today was very good. We had an opportunity to hear about the buzz that's going on about this new bridge program that's going to come to Wilmington, and I'm excited about it. Matter of fact, I'm more excited now that you shared this with us, and I just hope and trust that the City Council do what it needs to be done. But now the budget has passed, and as you said, 10 said yes, 2 said no. What I want, and it's funny because I just did a sermon last Sunday on the 12 spies that went out, and it was interesting. In that case, 10 said no, don't go, and 2 said yes, let's go. But I don't want to get into the sermon part, Reverend, because you're a preacher as well. But let's talk about some of the benefits that comes out of this, if there are any.
Yes.
And I'm really hoping for transparency and for factual information. I want to start with education because that's my heart.
Sure.
Tell me what is in that budget that can help us in the education side?
So I'm excited about, talking about education, and I think this is a good segue from our last segment.
Yes.
We was talking about the bridge. So this is the first time that City Council actually has contributed to education since I've been a part of council. So I can't speak before I was on council, but within these last 2 terms, this is the first time that we are donating as much money as we are this particular session and budget. So we are contributing $200,000 to HBCU Foundation. So the HBCU Foundation is CEO was Ashley Christopher. There is HBCU Week here in Wilmington, the week of September 18th, I think around that time. So during that week, there's a number of things that take place that's educational. They actually go to some of the middle schools. And of course, the big thing is where the students can come to the Chase Fieldhouse, and they have a number of college representatives there where they can actually get scholarships on site. So City Council, we wanted to definitely be a part of that, to be able to say, hey, we contributed to that millions of dollars of scholarships that our young people have access to when they come to HBCU Week, in addition to all of the fun activities. But we know that the educational component of them getting scholarships, for school is most important. And so that is what City Council is contributing in this year's budget.
What a lot of people may not know, and it's important that they understand it, is that it's not like City Council have billions and billions of dollars to give out. To give out $200,000, it's almost like giving $1 million out or more
Yes.
because of the size of your budget.
Yes.
And you don't ever have to convince me. I'm an HBCU product.
Yes.
I know the need for it. I'm very impressed with Christopher, who has done a phenomenal job.
Yes.
And building it.
Yes.
You know, and I'm very grateful for that. Tell me a little bit about the segment of the budget that deals with traffic and safety, because that was another area that I wanted to see if there's any improvements or any things you all are suggesting in this budget.
Okay, so a number of our communities, the residents have been complaining about speeding.
Right.
Number one, speeding. So over in the 3rd District on the north side is one of the communities where we have one of our constituents that come to the council meeting, literally every council meeting, never misses a council meeting, and he has been talking about the speeding. In my district here, we have Hill Street where we have a number of trucks that travel on Hill Street. I found out that Hill Street is actually considered a highway because it's a part of 13.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when I learned about that, I mean, it changed the dynamics, but nonetheless, we needed to have like a traffic study there before we could start talking about what we can do to address it. So we're going to do a pilot. So we have invested $100,000 into this pilot program where we're going to either put cameras up. We're exploring right now the best use of that $100,000. Some have mentioned, put these strips on the road, but they create problems, for trucks and
especially fire trucks.
And not only that, in the wintry weather. So there's some barriers to using those. So we are exploring what would be the best use of those dollars and the best program to address it. Now, as far as Southbridge, because I got 2 communities that deals with, speeding, which is Walnut Street, between 13th and 14th, starting like at 11th, going down to the Brandywine. There is a lot of speeding, and I think a lot of it has to do with how the road actually goes down, and just naturally you just start driving faster. So that was one area that I had to deal with speeding, and then Hill Street. So what we're going to do is change the synchronization of the lights on Hill Street, because you probably haven't noticed, but they all change at the same time, all green at one time from BP to the bridge. So I said, hey, the low-hanging fruit could be that you change the synchronization of the lights. So it's not major, but it will cause them to have to stop. It's not as easy to speed straight through. So we're going
to make sure you're making every light.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to definitely change the synchronization of the lights on Hill Street, but we are investing the $100,000 into the budget, for the pilot to address speeding.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you're really sharing with me right now is, so I can make sure I'm understanding, is that you all didn't use this budget to solve all the ills, but to start the process of understanding the problem.
Yes.
Invest in money so that you can clearly understand it and then address.
100%. Yeah. And one of the ways that I think about the budget is this: the mayor pretty much, when he presents his budget, when he does his budget address, he pretty much is sharing with us his departments and what they're looking at and what they think should go in the budget. And I look at City Council, we're looking at the community and what we need to put in the budget for the community. That's the way I see it. Right. So whenever we talk about the budget, that's the largest piece of legislation in terms of funding and investments as an elected official that we can make towards the community, because that's where you get what you want. That's where you begin to negotiate. And for me, that's one of the reasons why building relationships are so important.
Yes, I agree.
It's during that time right there when I think about neighborhood stabilization, the monies that we are using for the home repair lottery, hey, that's been a hit since we started, I want to say 4 years ago is when we first started putting money in the community for housing stabilization, neighborhood stabilization. That's what we call it. So it's a hit. And so it really is helping to clean up the community. It's helping property owners to get roofs fixed, HVAC, central systems. So a number of things that they would not normally be able to afford. So when the budget season comes around, you building relationships, that's when City Council can really, really put the community at the tip top, because like I said, the mayor's gonna make sure that all the departments are operating efficiently, and that's what he should be looking at, because if we don't have workers working, hey, this doesn't work. We have to work together. Okay, we need people picking up the trash. We need making sure that there's people answering the phones, right? So it works both ways. So if he can manage, making sure that we have a sound budget on his side, then we can focus on the community, and that's what we've been doing.
And I'm really appreciative because you're showing me some things, and as a person who's not in government, you're showing me that there's two branches here.
100.
And what you're saying to me, as I'm understanding, is that yes, the mayor's office is to take care of the administration, to making sure that the services are being provided through his budget, blank, blank, blank.
Correct.
However, in that same budget, there are some things that are interest to you as a city council person, the other one as a city council.
Yes.
And what we're doing is we're bringing that together because you're more community-based.
Yes.
This is some things my citizens are complaining about.
That's
so
correct.
while you want to make sure somebody's answering the phone, I want to make sure that the pothole, that the speeding have been addressed as well.
You got it.
I see. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
You got it.
I appreciate the education because that's how we grow.
Yes.
And I'm trying to just calm down and hear what you're sharing, because sometimes this part of the conversation is missing in a lot of conversations.
Okay.
This part is missing very strongly because a lot of times we hear the things we don't want in that budget, or what we heard was put in the budget by whether it be the administration or the city council, and we are very all up in arms. Now what you're doing is you're giving me this little education, and I don't use the word little as in to trivialize it, but you're giving me the education to be able to understand, my interest as a city council person is to make sure I get for my citizens what they need, what they have been asking. You said one person came to all the meetings and brought it up.
Yes.
So now it's in the budget.
Yes.
To address it, whether it be to do some study on it or to even just directly address it. That's very good.
Yes.
But the big one is that public safety one.
The public safety.
Yeah, because I want to know how and what is happening with the budget as it relates to public safety. Now, a lot of times people, when I say people, there are those who will criticize nothing is happening. You're doing nothing to make public safety better.
Okay.
And if that's true, it's all right. And I don't want to put the whole weight of the city council on you. But if there are some areas in the public safety that's in this budget that you think that are beneficial to the community, maybe you could share some of that with us today.
Okay, so let me put it in perspective. Okay. So when the city of Wilmington received ARPA dollars, we earmarked and decided that we was going to use $7 million. We were going to invest that into intervention and prevention for our youth. We hired someone to come from New Jersey to come and do an assessment that basically had a model that we felt was pretty similar to Wilmington, when we learned that the majority of the shootings was between the youth between 13 and 21. So they had pretty much the same similar situation going on in their city. They came down, a number of council members, we recommended some youth organizations. They did their assessment and identified 3 youth organizations. We decided to put $7 million into the program, and it's called Community Public Safety Initiative. And those dollars will last up through 2026. Okay. So we did not have to put any money into the budget this year because we already know that it's funded out through 2026. And in government, you don't put money in this budget past each year. You put the money in a budget for each year of that particular budget. So knowing that we have funding to last out through 2026, there was no need to put money in the budget. However, we are very connected to the program. It's called Community Public Safety Initiative. We hired a director to actually manage those 3 organizations.
And what does that person do?
Dr. Mason, Sue is the director of making sure that she keeps the records in terms of their, how they're doing, what they're doing. One of them is Structural Justice Equity. Wolfie Daryl Chambers. He's the director of one of those organizations. And then we know that Network Connect is the other one. And they also even secured a house on Pine Street. So in that particular house, anyone from the community can come in. They can get any kind of resource that they need. If they don't have it, they will work to partner and reach out to get the resources that are needed. Because what we're learning is that if people are feeling, like they have the things they need, they tend not to go out and want to steal. They tend not to go out and want to shoot and kill to get money and to get resources and things of that nature. So our model of addressing public safety is through the Community Public Safety Initiative. $7 million was earmarked. That's lasting throughout 2026. And so what we're hoping is that the next administration will see the value in that initiative, and we are also looking to expand it. So right now, they primarily started with the hotspots, as they call it. We get data from WPD in terms of where's the highest shootings and crime taking place. So it was on the east side and over on the northeast side, east side and the northeast side. So what they're trying to do now is to expand that program out into other areas. The north side, northeast and north side is 2 different areas. So when I say it's currently on the northeast side, they want to expand it to north side, which is like 27th and Market area, over in that area. And of course, the west side would be the other area. So when we talk about public safety, in terms of what City Council is doing within our realm of control, is investing the money into the Community Public Safety Initiative, where we have these programs that are working with youth to address prevention and intervention, because we believe if you prevent the issues, then you don't have to do intervention. So that is the goal, that is the mission of those youth organizations working with Dr. Mason, that City Council and the mayor agreed to invest those dollars to do the work that needed to be done to say, hey, this is how we're contributing to the public safety issue here in the city of Wilmington.
So what's her name again?
Dr. Deborah Mason.
Dr. Mason. So I'm sure she has an evaluation process to be able to give back information as the years go on, so we can know what type of information. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that because crime is happening, and I don't care where you live at, whether you live in Wilmington or you live in Philadelphia, crime is happening. And one of my good friends, the mayor of Philadelphia now, she's really doing all in her power to deal with the crime, and it's just an unleashed animal. But what I'm really interested in, the research that people are doing. So you're saying that the $7 million that you all have invested, a part of that is really going to be able to tell us some preventive things that will help. It may not solve the issue right this moment, but it will solve the issue over time, because you'll have data, you have information to be able to share what is being collected. So that is happening. They're doing some kind of data that will help to collect and be able to say, okay, this is one of the causes. We know that there are certain things that's going to cause crime. But you just made a comment that I agree with, and that is, if you're providing the right resources and having the right things available, even that tends to go away. Yes. It minimizes. And as a matter of fact, they talk to the individuals that come into the house that's on Pine Street, and they've actually shared, they was transparent with them, like they were going to go out and steal something,
whatever their needs were that day. But because they were able to come into the house and get the resources that they needed, they didn't go out and commit a crime.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple more questions, and the staff is telling me I got to go to a commercial break. Okay. We're going to take a commercial break, but I want to talk about some of the neighborhood stabilization too. So while we go to this break, I want you to start thinking about what is going on with the neighborhood, but what kind of monies or whatever y'all got invested for the neighborhood. Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, Wilmington. I am Michelle Harlee, and I represent the 4th Councilmatic District. The communities in the 4th District are Southbridge, the Riverfront, Midtown Brandywine, Trinity Vicinity, and a portion of the East Side. I am running for my re-election on Tuesday, September the 10th for the 4th District City Council seat, and I would love for you to donate and to consider volunteering. To learn more about what I am doing and what I plan to do, you can visit my website at www.michelleharlee.com. Together, we can move the 4th District forward. Thank you.
And we're back. What a great conversation I'm having with Councilwoman Harlee, who has really come in and taken her time. And I'm glad you retired too, by the way, because I probably wouldn't get this much time with her. But there's a whole lot of things that you've heard on the sources, a whole lot of things you've heard in the community. And we've not really heard from the people who really is in the trenches. Yes. So today I'm trying, and I'm going to continue. You promised you would keep coming back, and I call you when I hearing things, say, come on back, and you've been willing to come back.
Yes.
But we've had an opportunity we're talking about the budget today, and we're talking about some of the things that's in the budget, and I really want to make sure that we're doing it not in a haste way, but in a calm way where people can hear, ask their questions, and be able to reach out to you if they so need to. I want to jump right back in and deal with the neighborhood stabilization piece. What type of things in the budget will help us with the stabilization of the neighborhood?
So the neighborhood stabilization, to me, is one of the big ticket items that I believe is one of the biggest and most valuable investments in the community, because the neighborhood stabilization is all about monies that our residents can get to help to stabilize their homes based on whatever the need may be. So the way that it works, we came up with a very transparent and fair process. So we put $1.5 million into the budget for neighborhood stabilization, which means that when we open the window for them to call, is typically like a 15-day window when we start, usually the first of the month, and then like the 15th we close it to give people enough time to hear about it, know about it, and call in. The residents call in to 311. They give them their name and they translate their name to a number. So when they actually do the lottery and pick the numbers, it's a number and not a name. So it's a transparent process. Typically the mayor and the council president are on social media where you can literally see, them, pulling the numbers. They actually put the numbers on the screen. And so the process is transparent. And also the program is just phenomenal because, again, each homeowner can get up to $10,000 worth of work done on their homes. Now, I will tell you, when we first started the program, since it started with ARPA dollars, we put about $4 million into this program before we started using budget dollars, because ARPA dollars came from the federal government. Right. They did not have the same stipulations. So any and everybody, could be selected to get dollars from the ARPA funds to fix up their homes. They had inspectors to come in, they would inspect the house, but it was mainly to address, what's safe, safe and warm. I think it's safe, dry, safe and warm, or something like that. A roof, windows, doors, and stuff like that. So they mainly focused on repairing those items with the first like $4 million, in addition to other maybe cosmetic work that people, especially our seniors, wanted and needed. That was with the ARPA funds. But when that money ran out and we realized how successful it was and how it's really making a difference, like in the different communities, then we started putting the money in the budget, proposing it in the budget. So we put the $2 million in last budget, which was last year. And so this year we put the $1.5 million. So since we are still out there, since the inspectors are out there, I'm still inspecting homes from the March. We did it in March. We did a lottery in March. Okay. So we just put the 1.5 million because we only have so many contractors that can actually get out there and get the work done. So we put the 1.5, and it's to help stabilize the neighborhoods throughout the city. So the difference is that you have to qualify for the dollars through the proposed budget. You have to qualify for those dollars. You can't make six figures and still get the money. You can't. You can't make six figures. Excuse me. And so it's a big hit with the community. They love it, and we heard from them, and they said, we want to continue that program. And because we have a number of older communities, especially like on the east side here in Southbridge, and it was so nice because when I went to the Civic Association meeting in May, I asked, was there anybody in the room that, was their number was picked, and it definitely was people in the room.
Excellent.
That was a good feeling.
Now, so there was a rumor that the funds was just anybody could put their number in, but you're saying, I'm not sure I heard you right, that there was a requirement that you could not have a certain income and put your number in.
You can put your number in. What happens, because they do that on the back end. So you put your number in, but we share what those qualifications are. Okay, I made sure that, like in my civic association meetings I went to, these are the qualifications right here for you to be able to receive the funds. Now you can still submit your name if you want to, but on the back end they're going to check.
Oh, so you're saying in order to everybody has to be certified.
Yes.
Your name can go in.
Yes.
So that was the misunderstanding. People say, well, anybody can put their name in there. But you're saying they can.
Yes.
However, in order to receive the funds, they have to be certified.
Yes. And
based on the criteria.
Absolutely.
Understood.
Yes. And so, but the first wave, anybody could. That's why
that was ARPA funds.
That was the ARPA funds. But the taxpayers' dollars, we definitely had, the Wilmington taxpayer dollars, should I say, we definitely said, hey, it's for those that need it the most.
Understood.
And that qualified.
Yeah. Now, is there anything about economic development? Tell me a little bit about that. I'm trying to get everything in this show as much as possible.
Sure. But let me just say one other thing about neighborhood stabilization. So when we talk about neighborhood stabilization, we're also talking about blight, rundown houses. So I will tell you that we invested money as well into demolition to get rid of houses that were pretty much, they were really safety hazards. If you ride through 8th and Pine, for many, many years, you had the liquor store on 8th and Pine across the street from Bancroft. And then on the other side, that whole block demolished, going. We bought up a number of liquor stores because we knew they were sort of like, the hub drawing, the wrong traffic. So the city actually bought up some of these liquor stores and repurposed them back into the community for, home ownership. So the neighborhood stabilization, it was like 3 prongs to make sure those that needed funding to help get their houses, up to par. It included, getting rid of the blight, putting money in the budget to get rid of the, to demo properties that needed to be torn down. And then also, it was one other thing as it related to that. And of course, building new homes. So we have 5 housing organizations that we're working with, that they're either renovating houses in some of our blighted areas, primarily on the east side, or, renovating or building or demolishing,
Understood.
to lift up and to bring up the community. So between all of these different initiatives, that's what we call neighborhood stabilization.
Gotcha. Very good education. I appreciate that. Yeah. Anything about the economic development?
Oh, yes. So as we know, like, and you probably know this, you're a businessman, that small businesses really is the heart, of the city, the state, and the country. It's the small businesses that keep the economic engine going for the most part. So we really realized last budget, we invested in minority businesses. Now we added Black minority businesses because, if you say minority, it could be females.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we invested last year and we saw the impact because we have a number of brown and Black, to where they just really are struggling to have that curb appeal, to draw business rather, to, help their businesses to, build capacity. So we put money in the budget for that. And let me just check my numbers here. We put $350,000 into the budget for minority business development. $350,000. So this is why I say, the budget is the biggest, largest financial investment that is made in a community. How can anybody not vote for that when you're for the community?
Well, it could be because my one thing I want, it didn't happen. So
Guess what? Like everything I want doesn't get in the budget, but I go after the things that I know the most impact. Okay, and that's what is the most important thing, to me. Of course, I'm not going to get everything, but hey, at the end of the day, we made sure that the investment was going to be felt in the community in a way that was impactful. Now, what I went over were the highlights, the big items that I feel as though that the community needs to know about. There were other things like the $20,000 to the Wilmington Public Library. They're making a lot of noise too, downtown. They reimagine, what a urban library could be, and they have totally transformed the Wilmington Public Library. It's no longer a place that you go in and you sit quiet, check in a book, check out a book. It's the place to be now. They have parties, they have Ben Crumb, authors, artists, entertainers, you name it. They've been bringing them in. So I really thought that it was important to make sure that we support, that effort, it being, in the 4th District and, rallying my council members, because they also, see the great work that is happening. One of the council members was actually a part of Dancing with the Stars, one of the council members, right? Yeah. That was one of the events that they put on, right? So there are other things that are in the budget that I did not really go over, but I highlighted the big ticket items.
That's really what I really wanted you to be able to do, because sometimes we go into the negative zone and just talk about what's wrong. It's important that people get a chance to look at the whole buffet. If you don't want the sauerkraut, that's fine. It's there, okay? Yes. But you just want ketchup for your hot dog, and that's all right too, because it's there.
Absolutely.
And I don't sit in judgment to say what's wrong and what's right. But what I believe is only what is fair and unfair.
Right.
And the way I'm hearing from you is that it's enough in the budget for everyone to have gotten something, especially if the city council is doing its part.
Yes.
The mayor is doing its part.
Yes.
Then we have a good budget.
Yes.
Now, if the mayor, because we vote in all of you all. Yes. And if the mayor does not do certain things or have certain things, then we're going to be able to respond to that person appropriately. Same with city council.
Yes.
But what I'm grateful for today is you were able to share with us the things and your interests. For example, the mayor's interest is this, the council's interest is this.
Yes.
And you were able to say, well, I voted for the budget. Even if I didn't agree with one item, two items, it doesn't matter.
Right.
The things that matter to my community, my constituents, it's there. And that's what you're trying to share. Those are the highlights of the day. And I think that's the reason why I wanted to continue to bring you back, because I don't ever want to get to a place where the buffet is not really on display. I just don't want that to be. I want us to be able to see that, you know what, Okay, we can talk about it because, matter of fact, I better hurry up because I want to get to that one last piece.
All right.
Where on our show, on the Source, we talked about the budget, and I was totally against anybody voting for the budget when I heard there was going to be a 13% increase.
Wow.
Okay, and I said, we get us the pictures of everybody who voted for it.
Wow.
And then later we discovered that was misinformation.
Yes.
And I did come on my show on the Source and retract and say, listen, after getting the numbers, it was wrong.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and share with your unless it was right. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you correcting, what was misinformation, because that's the right thing to do. I don't know who actually watched it, but the truth of the matter is, one, it was said, and I did watch that show, and your co-hosts, both of them, pretty much, one said, that we voted on legislation to increase the water sewage 5% every year. Or, that was currently the case. And then on top of that 5%, then we voted on 5.8%, which I don't know where the 13, how you add that up. But that part I knew was not correct, because there was a conversation about raising the water and sewer every year, but we decided against that. We decided that was going to be held, but that, I don't know, it never passed. So it was not true.
And that's a fact. For those of you who are watching, we did. And in fact, I think Kobe even made a comment to that his comment was made before he knew whether or not they had voted on it. So so you are telling the truth.
Yes.
I mean, I want to make sure that and that's one of the things about reporting things. We got to make sure that our opinion or our emotions are not at the top of what we're reporting. But I did find that to be true. It was not passed.
No.
And what was passed was a 5% increase.
That's
and
correct.
your numbers that you gave us the last time you were here were correct.
Yes.
I mean, that it was a couple dollars will be added to the bill.
Yes.
And I'll start saying that this woman's just giving me stuff. I know this is not true. That's why I dug into it a little bit deeper and found that your information was correct.
Yes. My goal is always to educate and to inform the community about what City Council is doing in a way that will impact them. So there is no, I don't, want to waste your time or the community's time, being negative about anything, because I know already that's not what they want. I receive calls all the time about, negativity and why, and they don't want it. And I promise them, you will never get that from me. Never will I be, defaming anyone.
Yeah.
I will always share information, but I will never share the names, because you know what? That's not important to me. What's important to me is that the community knows what City Council is doing to uplift the community, to educate the community, and how we are working collectively together to move the city of Wilmington forward. That's my goal.
Yeah, and we only have 2 minutes, and I just wanted to just throw this in. You have been success. First, for those of you who are watching us, Councilwoman Harlee and I didn't always agree on everything, and we still don't agree on everything, but that's all right with me. But one of the things I want to share with those of you who are watching me right now is the reason why I'm kind of excited that I'm able to forge a relationship with Councilwoman Harlee is that there were many times you could have turned your back on some of our projects. You could have, because it wasn't popular.
Right.
But you don't get involved in that. And for those of you who watch this, please pay attention and hear me. She doesn't get involved in that. And if you can give our audience, some young person, you didn't change your hair so you can look European.
Right.
You didn't change your complexion so you can look European. But yet you were able to successfully, over 40 years, work in a environment with the DuPonts.
Yes.
And be successful.
Yes.
What is the art you feel?
I believe first and foremost, having a supportive family is one. Education, as you said earlier, is definitely, I always say, it is a ticket to get you, in the door, and not only in the door, but to earn respect at the table. I found that, civility is very important. There were a number of colleagues that I worked with that we was like, like night and day. But if you are civil, if you show respect and remember that we are a part of a team, and I want my team to win, I didn't let.
Say that again. You want what to win?
I'm a part of a team, and I want my team to win.
That's important. That's key. That's key.
I want my team to win. So regardless of, you know, where we have differences, I always look for what do we have in common. I'm always looking for what do we have in common, because I'm on a team. I want this team to win. I'm not going to talk down about my team. I'm not going to try to do anything to, you know, cause us not to look good. So being in that corporate environment, I learned that civility, respect, and always, you know, moving in a way of being a leader and not a follower. There were other individuals sometimes that were going against the managers, going against the directors, gossiping about them. I never engaged in that. And it really worked out for me because I was always in a position to have the advantage because I didn't get involved with the negativity. I went there to do a job, and I was always solution oriented. I was always trying to figure out how to solve a problem too, not create a problem and not be a problem, not create a problem or be a problem, but to solve a problem.
Well, Councilwoman, we're out of time, and I'm gonna have to invite you back. Okay. But you promise you will continue to come back as we hear more. And I know you're already going to recess for the summer, but there's so many wonderful things going on in your district that we're going to continue to bring you back. And you can tell your colleagues this is open forum for them as well.
Yes.
And for those of you who are watching, it is an open forum. I believe in as long as you're going to be telling the truth, as long as you're going to be transparent and share what is fair, I'm with you. We'll be right back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, or what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. Great conversation today, and I'm very excited that Councilwoman Michelle Harlee decided to stop by again. She promised me that she would do it, and I believe in just, making sure we get all the information. There have been some information that have been given out to the community. There have been some criticism that have occurred, and I'm not gonna call everybody a liar unless I had an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with them. She's been here 2 times in the last 2 months almost, and both times she's shared straight information, and when we had to fact check her, we fact checked her and found out that she was correct. Nobody is in an island. I asked her a question at the end, and the question was simple. How are you able to survive 40 plus years in an institution where some people have changed their hair, some people have changed their complexion in order to be successful, yet she didn't do either of the two? And she said something that I want to leave us today with, and that is being a team. I've learned as a pastor of Zion Fair, one of the larger churches here in the city, that I cannot have a dictatorship. I have to be able to understand the art of team, because when you own a team, the team must win. We don't always agree. There are things that are not happening the way I feel or they feel should happen, but at the end of the day, we're a team. For the young person who's watching you. You're on your way up the ladder. You're on your way to doing great things. You want to represent people. You cannot do it effectively if you don't believe in team. There are no I's in team. Your agenda is your agenda, but in order for you to be successful with your agenda, it has to be joined with the team. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I praise God for each and every one of you every week who continue to watch us. Until the next time we get together, may the Lord God bless you real good.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee with Curry. Tune in next week, Sunday at 11 a.m.